see you back every time when it's time to rain. I remember when we ran under rain. Every time when it's time to rain, I remember when we ran under rain. I don't know how you came in strangers. See your face one more time, kiss me one more time before time runs out, baby. And it's when you try to call back, let me come back, 'cause you give me life, baby. Let me see your face one more time, kiss me one more time before time runs out, baby. And it's when you try to call back, let me come back, 'cause you give me life, baby.
Just break my heart. What do you feel? Chasing the feelings from ghosts in the sky. I hope they don't mind. I need you near. Something to hold, someone I can call mine. Please don't break my just break my
My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom. My tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom.
It's
hold up my camera. Let's see here. Here we go. How's everybody doing? I think we got everything working. Had to wait for a couple things to finish installing. I think we're good though. How's everybody? Good afternoon. Hopefully you can hear me. Turn down the music a little bit here. Also a little too fast for me here. I need something a little more chill. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see here. A little better. Hope everyone's doing okay. Awesome. Good. So the plan for today is to get after some retopology. The biggest reason I wanted to stream today, one, losing my voice a little bit, so I'm gonna try to reduce the amount of talking just to the stream instead of having to talk to every single one of you. And if I'm sick, I don't want to get people sick. But the other reason is I want to give you guys a video that you can watch over the next couple of days while you're trying to finish up the retopology process, just because I know in class we go a little quick and it's hard to follow along sometimes. So I want to have the full step-by-step sort of walkthrough of me retopologizing my whole model. So we're just waiting on I forgot I didn't have Maya 2025, so as soon as this downloads, it should not take very long. We'll open this up, and then you guys should have this video to go through and watch over the next 2 days or so. I mean, this whole week, really. As long as we're wrapped up with topology by the end of this week, we should be good. The biggest problem is, I believe next week we do not have class. So let's see here. Yeah, next, actually, I think we're good. Monday, Wednesday. Is Wednesday the campus closed? I don't remember when the Thanksgiving break starts. Let's see here. Let's see here. Thanksgiving break is Thursday to Sunday. Okay, so we're good, actually. We've got class. We're good. We have class the day before Thanksgiving, which is fine. And then you guys are out the 28th through December 1st, which is fine. That's the following week, Thursday. So we really actually have 1, 2, 3 more weeks after this week. I was thinking we were kind of hosed because of the holiday, but I think we're actually doing okay. So if we can finish up retopology and then we have 3 weeks to unwrap and paint, I think that's not terrible. Our last day of class for the semester is December 5th, which is, yeah. So from Wednesday, we have 3 weeks left. I don't know why everyone was saying we only had 3 weeks left of class. Technically, last week we had 5 weeks left of class. So we're good. We're just fine. Okay. Let's see here. You don't need to see me sign. It's fine. Just sign me in. It's fine. Just use default preferences. That's fine. turn something else on here really quick. One sec. Sweet. Okay. Let's jump in here. I should be able to open up my downloads here. And I'm going to actually restart my whole retopo here. I know I have a bunch of it done, but we're actually going to nuke this, and I'm going to start from ground zero for all of you. Just so you can kind of see the whole flow. I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit here. Then you guys should be able to see the whole flow of Retopology. Which is what we want. I don't need this time slider here. New version of Maya. Let's see. I don't need this. I also don't need music with words in it. It's fine. All right. So, process here, again, if you can remember, right? The biggest thing we need to remember is that we have our high topology model, right? And this high topology model is going to be baked down onto our lower topology model, right? So the retopo model that we are placing or creating from this high poly, right, is going to have the detail from this model baked down onto that model, right? So right now we have this high poly model, right, that we've created. It's great. We need to be able to take all of this definition from this model and place it on that model, the other model. So when we're doing our retopology, we need to make sure that our mesh encapsulates the whole thing, right? Also, we need to make sure we're accounting for the clean topology that we want for animation purposes. So as I'm breaking this down and creating the topology surface here, I'm going to be talking through some of the processes and things that I'm looking at when I'm thinking about doing retopology and just general facial structure and topology for facial animation in general, right? So my biggest thing here, right? We've clicked on the model. We've made it a live surface up here with the magnet, right? Now in our retopology, in our modeling toolkit, we can start doing our retopology with a tool here called Quad Draw, which most of you should know by now. We've been doing this for a week. But we can go through here and again start drawing our geometry here on our model, right? We can also do this with symmetry if we click this drop down and hit Object X, right? So we can start creating geometry on this face relatively easily, right? And usually what I like to do is create these quadrants so that I know and that I can keep my geometry simple and flowing well. Something you'll notice as you start doing your retopology is you'll start just throwing in random faces and not realize it, right? So if I can keep this relatively simple and clean with good geometry, right? I want to make sure I keep good geometry. So if I start creating this topology around the eye, I know that I'm keeping a good edge flow and a good poly count too, right? We don't want to get crazy with our poly count quite yet. We're still trying to keep things relatively simple. So here I can drop in another polygon. If I drop one in there, I'm going to drop one here. I just want to make sure I'm keeping that flow. right? Then I usually try to count. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to nuke one of these out here. So right now this is even, and I can kind of reorganize this a little bit. Just make sure I'm keeping stuff making sense around the eye. You can always drag and click on these vertices and make them make sense around the eye. I can also adjust the overall topology around the eye based off of the geometry underneath it too, right? So you always want to try to make sure things are making sense. You also have your smooth function available to you with your move topology or your quad draw tool, right? So you have a soften or a relax, which you can click. It's holding shift and clicking and dragging will relax stuff for you. So you can always take a look at that too. The biggest thing for me is making sure that I have a defined edge flow and topology around the eye, right? I want to make sure I have a good clean idea of where the top and middle and sides are. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is great. So there we go. So we've created the circle around the eyes, which is kind of where I want to start. And then I want to move around the mouth next. This playlist is just not doing it for me right now. Let's get something else going in here. Let's see here. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, sweet. So same thing here with the mouth. I'm going to go around and start kind of defining the other thing too is I can go from the front like this, from a front view, just to make sure I'm perfectly centered on things. I'm going to do a little bit of work around the mouth here. Right? I want to get a big sort of circle and edge flow around the mouth as well. I also just want to make sure that my edge loops line up with each other. So I don't want to have more edge loops on one side than I do on the other. I want to make sure that topology flows together. So we've got something like this, which is good. And then I'm going to kind of bring all of these in. We'll let that be for now. If this mouth was going to open, I might change a little bit how this flows. But we could even do something like this for the mouth right now, and I'd be okay with that. And I'm okay with those triangles right there. We have something like this right now, which is okay. Then the next thing I want to do is get a little bit more topology around the eyes. Remember, we can hold Control Tab, or Tab right click and hold, and then go to extend and then border right here. And then the next time I hold Tab around an object, I can do this, where it allows me to kind of extrude the edge away from the object. So it gives me a little bit more topology around here, which is what I'm looking for. Then I can kind of start defining a little bit more of this area. Granted, this is going to be a little interesting around the eyes right here. I do need to kind of give a good amount of geometry to flow here around the eyes. But then the next thing you can kind of work on is getting the nose attached in here. You kind of build a little raccoon mask in a sense. This will help define some of the geometry around the eyes and the nose. And then this can kind of flow around the nose as well. And then this can flow back around the eyes. It's okay for right now. Right, we're just kind of getting this edge flow through here. We do need to define the nose a little bit through here. Pick some of this up. And we can get this kind of attached together. And then the face just sort of starts to flow. This is an N-gon that I need to deal with here. But I can come in with my knife tool here. Cut right through. It's fine. And I can do a little bit of this here. I'm just trying to define the shapes around the nose a little bit more. Okay. Right, so defining that shape there will help. A lot of geometry here that I've created for the nose, so I just kind of have to be aware of where this is and start to terminate some of this if I can. I still want to keep this edge loop flowing around the mouth here for as long as I can. So I want to be able to do this if I need to, right? What's the tool I'm using for smoothing? Good question. So if you hold shift while you're in the your quad draw tool, if you hold shift, it will relax. You can kind of hold that and relax around your topology. Just helps clean stuff up a little bit as you're moving through. Keeps things nice and clean. So we're just working through this. Now that we've got this flow happening, I again want to do one more around the face. I want this edge loop to continue around the face here. Smooth that out. But you can see I've got this nice loop going around kind of the bottom of the nose, around the mouth. And then I can be a little bit more loose. Now that I've kind of got some of these shapes filled out, I can continue the nose up through here. I can continue working on some more of the topology here around the nose. Nice thing is if I need another edge loop there, I can throw that in there. Smooth some things out. It's totally fine. But you can see we've sort of started building this nice web of edge flow where we've got these nice loops around the eyes that we can add to. Nice loop around the nose and mouth that we can contribute to if we need some more topology through there. This is the type of flow we want around the face, right? And then we can pull up into the forehead and the rest of the object here, but we've built this mask, right? That's what we're looking for. We might get one more loop through here. And then this will kind of start looping into the rest of the face, which is okay. At a certain point, we can kind of start gathering and collecting the rest of the face as well. So I can kind of smooth some of this out, relax it a little bit. And we can get a little bit looser through here. And start picking up some of the chin. I do want to keep a nice edge flow for the side of the face here. So I might rethink this really quickly. And see how this flows for a sec. kind of like that better. Okay. Just keep working our way. I might just start pulling some of these down a little bit here to get to the chin. Space some of these out a little bit. Then we can kind of start looping around bottom side. Just gonna give myself some topology here for the chin. Being a little sloppy, but that's okay. We're just kind of using the relax tool, building in this geometry as we go, which is fine. You can always loop this stuff around into the face. You can pull and be a little general with stuff. I know I'm going to want a loop that goes around the mouth right there. So I can kind of adjust some of these edge loops if I need to. And then you can see I can do this relax tool and it kind of just helps everything flow to where it needs to go. Okay. I can start kind of wrapping underneath the chin. And this is where I'm going to create the neck edge loop. I'm going to be a little looser with this. I don't know how wide around I want this quite yet. I will just kind of get one right in the middle here. I can add to this as I need more edge loops. I can get that to flow around. And then I can do my tab and just extrude down for the neck. I can keep that edge loop going as I need more to wrap around the head and the rest to get to the body, right? But let's continue some of this stuff around the head for a sec. I'm going to kind of follow the hairline here. Yeah, smoothing in Retopology mode is holding shift. Yep, exactly. So you guys can kind of see, just following the hairline a little bit with that edge loop. Then I'll have to kind of figure out where the rest of the head geometry is going to go here. There's that. I end up with a triangle right here, which I can kind of get rid of that if I just do this. Which I'm okay with. And then I can go through and smooth some of this topo back out. And I don't hate how this is looking. This is feeling okay. I do want to have a loop that kind of wraps around or that picks up the hair in general here. So anywhere where I can kind of follow the flow of the hairline, I'm going to try to do that. I might need another edge loop in there, you know, but just trying to pick up that hair. And then the nice thing too is I want to be able to wrap my geometry around the ear. I want to have a nice clean edge loop for the ear. I'm going to work on trying to get that. do that, I'll end up having something like this. It's fine. Can always pull my edge loops around the ear. The ears and the rest of the head. Yeah. Yep. So for me, the biggest thing I want to make sure I have is the geometry around the ear. And then if I have that, then it makes it a little bit easier. I can loop around the head as much as I need to. So I've got this, these, this. Let's go here. Here. Now I've got all of this. I can so the biggest thing for me is just making sure it's even. So 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to nuke one of these. Let's just get rid of that one. And I can make sure all my edge loops kind of match up around the ear here. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's just cleaner if your edge loops are line up. No speed model today. Nope. We kind of have foregone the speed models a little bit just because of crunch time, which I'm okay with. We're working on a lot of different things. Okay, so there's the flow of the head. And then with the ear, again, I can sort of start extruding this around. Right? I've got this topology that I can use for the ear now. And again, I'm not worried about capturing all the detail on the front, right? I just want to make sure I have enough detail around the ear to get the shape of the ear, right? So I want to have a nice clean edge loop around the loop of the ear. It might not look perfect at first, but that's okay. Back some of this off a little bit. Again, I'm okay with having a decent amount of topology around the ear, right? It's just making sure it's there. And that's why I create those loops, because then I can add more and more edge loops around this if I need it. And again, this ear can be flat all the way through here, right? I'm not worried about making this detail on the ear. That's what the high poly is for. But I need to make sure that the geometry is there for me to sort of encapsulate the detail of the ear just in general, like around the ear, so that there is an ear there, right? And then we can let the high poly do its job and bake in the detail. Sort of doing some broader shapes now. What are the tunes in the background? It's a lo-fi Japanese themed beats, like lo-fi Japan or something on Spotify. Kind of chill. I like it. Some lo-fi bangers, yeah, for sure. It's good stuff. I don't mind it. Sometimes lo-fi can get a little annoying, but this isn't bad. Okay. There's the nice thing is I can add in a little bit of detail into these edge loops if I need to. So just a word of caution, sometimes the smooth tool doesn't do exactly what you need it to do, right? I need this to give me a tighter edge loop around the edge of the ear here, and it wants to try to smooth more than I want it to, so you might have to adjust a little bit here. It's still trying its best to follow the overall topology of the ear from the high poly. The high poly has a really high peak and valley inside of it, so I just need it to chill a little bit and follow what I'm trying to show it to do, right? Just give me detail right there for it to respond to. So something like that. And I can always clean up the edge loops with a soften or the relax tool. That's not bad. Thought we didn't want to retopologize the whole ear, like how the reference image looks like on the assignment. Retopologize the whole ear. It depends on what the character is. I can't remember exactly why I didn't retopologize the ear on the other one. I had a reason, but it's been a while since I've worked on that model. Okay, the other thing here now is I'm going to kind of start topologizing the head. And I might just do like a crown kind of thing right across the top of the head like this. Just keep it kind of simple. Say here's the startings of the head that's going to wrap around the top, right? And then I can have the rest of this topology kind of flow too through the head. So I can kind of start wrapping this around the head as well. The goal is to just have it look clean and nice around the head instead of sort of slanting to one way because you started in a weird direction. So if I can keep this decent and wrapped around the head to encapsulate, you know, a good chunk of this, that's the goal. Sometimes it's nice to do something like this too, to just sort of get it all attached in a way. And then you can decide how many edge loops you need through here based on how many you need to wrap around the side of the head, right? So if this ear is like this here, you can kind of determine, okay, I need some edge loops here for this. And I've got all these edge loops that I need to sort of work out, right? So if I only have one here, right, this is going to be really weird. So I might need to move, you know, some of these down a little bit. There's some ways that you can kind of work through this, right? But yes, you will want the whole ear. You want to retopologize everything here. So if I can kind of wrap the whole head here, that's the goal. Then again, remember just to fall back on your relax tool. This always kind of helps clean stuff up and give you a clearer vision of what you're trying to do. The other thing too is I want to flow these back on the head too. Now that I'm here. I know there's quite a few edge loops that I need to figure out through here. In the case for Sully, you'd want to retopple the horns as well, right? Yes. It would be similar to how you approach the ears. But yeah, you would want to retopple those as well. Okay. So the thing now that I have this kind of well figured out up here is I can start trying to run some of these edge loops down through the back of the head. Just gets a little hectic around this portion because now you got to start figuring out where stuff needs to terminate, right? So in reality, this needs to go here to make it make sense. This one needs to go right. So that all starts to just wrap around the backside of the head. You can be a little broader with some of these. If I need to really stretch through some of this stuff to get it positioned right on the head, I can do that for now. I always have that relax I can fall back on to kind of clean things up a little bit. And I have some clean topology that I can run edge loops through, so that's always nice too. So if this feels like it needs to be near the back of the head more, I can do that, right? Just to get things flowing properly. And this can be slow and tedious. It just takes time. Just be patient. Work on one portion and kind of use that relax tool and make sure stuff looks decent, and then move on to the next area. It's kind of is slow and methodical. Just kind of have to get used to the process. For me, it's kind of soothing now because I'm used to it, right? Just used to the workflow. It's like puzzle solving for me now, which I kind of enjoy. Now I can just rework where stuff flows. Like this is nice. I can add an edge loop right through there. Give myself some more topology, which is sweet. And it doesn't really affect a whole lot, other than just giving me a little bit more topology everywhere. And I know I have to deal with this ponytail. I might almost retopologize this as a separate object that sits in the head. I'm debating that, but we'll see. I'm going to get to a certain point here and then we'll figure it out. I might be able to just get away with it without doing that, but yeah, I've kind of got this sort of looped here. looped around. It's not the most perfect loop, but it works. Just gonna try to pull this close up to the ponytail all the way around. Take a look at that in more detail. But that is wrapped all the way around the face and the head, which is what we wanted. We're getting close to time here, but that's okay. This is feeling pretty decent. There's a little bit of work we could do around some of these areas and just relaxing some stuff. I don't mind if edge loops are close and sort of tight together around the mouth right here. That's fine, where there's a lot of detail. Edge loops in the face. I'm going to do something really quick. View. Let's see. I'm going to save actually really fast. I'm going to delete all my type history. Save scene as. We're going to call this Retopo 3. We'll save this out on the desktop. Yeah, this is feeling pretty decent. The nice thing is the rest of this model is not going to be very tough. Like, once we get to the clothes and stuff, it's not going to be very hard to top any of this. And we can always throw in our plinth too. But we'll do that after. The more topo we have around the eyes, the better it will look just up in here because of the eyebrows. So the more I can kind of adjust this, the better. And then the more detail I can put inside the eyelids will help around the eyebrows too. So again, it's just sort of making sure once you have your edge flow around your face kind of determined, the next is sort of cleaning up your geo so that you can house the detail of the high poly, right? So if I can just position this a little bit more so that it holds that detail, right? That's what I'm looking for. Because right now you can see that eyebrow sticks out way further than the rest of the head. So that could mean I need to like come in here and do an extrusion out off of the eyebrow or just around here. but we'll figure that out in a minute. You don't have to fill in the eye holes either, because the eyes are going to be here, so they don't necessarily have to be completely closed in. So if you need more detail around there, that's fine. So the nice thing right now is if I click on this, current faces. Yeah, that's showing it has way more faces than it actually does because it's still trying to connect to the high poly, but that's okay. A little more detail there. Hair. I can capture that. That's what I'm going to try to do. And I can approach the rest of the neck and stuff once I adjust some more areas here on the face. But this is looking pretty decent, okay? Obviously there are a few areas we could adjust and smooth. But I feel pretty good about this mesh around the head right now. And then I can look at doing stuff like this, cleaning up the ponytail. Right, so I can kind of scoot this up to the edge. I'm going to capture the detail here. I can always throw another loop through if I need it. I can grab stuff around here. And again, some of this might need to be adjusted not in symmetry just because of the hair's shape in general. It's not totally symmetrical, right? So, like, this is a point where you could grab it in not symmetry mode and adjust your edge loop based off of where stuff is so that you get a cleaner loop around there. But we have gone over in time. So we'll stop here, and then Wednesday we'll pick it back up. But hopefully that helps, seeing the entire head sort of get retopologized in one sitting. Obviously with clothes and stuff, you can start looping some of this stuff in. Like, it's not super concerning right off the rip. This stuff is really easily accounted for, which is nice, right? Obviously I have some work here on this side, so I'll probably end up retopoing this and it won't be totally symmetrical, right? I'll retopo the one side and then topo the other side, right? But that feels pretty good. I'm going to save here. I'm going to do a retopo 4. And that is where we'll call it for today, I think. Thanks for being here with me. Yeah, I'm happy with how far we got in an hour. This is pretty well taken care of. The rest of the body and stuff and the back of the head will not take very long. The complicated parts are ears. You know, we got through the stuff that's annoying to get through. Ears, you know, other parts of the body that are parts of the head, I guess, are more annoying, right? These are relatively simple. So, and then there's always some cleanup we can do after the fact. Once the retopo's done, we can go through and really kind of clean up some of the areas on the face to make the low look even better. But for right now, this feels pretty good. And we can stop here, and I will let you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, okay? Any questions before I let you go? I'm not seeing any questions. I guess you're all topology masters now, which is great. Wednesday we'll be back in person. So if you've got questions that you want to ask on Wednesday while we're in person, that's great too. So, but yeah, I think that is it for me. And I will see you all on Wednesday. Okay. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. See ya.